Coming up on this edition of Parkland TV, we're honoring Women's History Month and giving you some tips as you quarantine for the foreseeable future. I'm Mary Meyer. Stay tuned for this and more on Parkland TV. Today is Friday, March 20th. Welcome to a special edition of Parkland TV, live from quarantine. To start our show, news correspondent Maya Sukanik helps us celebrate Women's History Month by honoring women who have made an impact in art.
Women have been impactful members of the art world since the start, whether they be the artists themselves or art historians, sponsors, and critics. In fact, according to 1st century Roman writer Pliny the Elder, a woman named Dibutates is known to be the first recorded painter. Her first piece was of her lover, which she traced onto a wall. Since then, art has developed into a male-dominated industry, and despite facing many challenges, female artists found inspiration in these setbacks and created the beautiful pieces displayed in museums all over the world today. One of the most influential female artists is Frida Kahlo, who was born and raised in Cayac, Mexico. She is known for her self-portraits that feature her famous unibrow mustache, as well as her vibrant style, which was influenced by indigenous cultures of Mexico. Her work included realism, symbolism, and surrealism, and was often intended to promote awareness of the female experience. In her painting, Los Dos Fritas, she displays her two personalities. The one on the left shows her in Tijuana clothing, bearing a broken heart, while the other shows a modern dress with a full heart. This painting was finished shortly after her divorce with her husband Diego Rivera, and is meant to emphasize her new, independent self despite the inner turmoil he caused. Her work inspires many young artists to express all aspects of their lives, both negative and positive, through their art. Like Kahlo, American artist Mary Cassatt is also well known for her inspirational portraits, which show women in everyday settings, specifically mothers bonding with their children. Becoming a successful artist was especially difficult for Cassatt, as her parents refused to support her love of art, and many art schools in America were incredibly biased towards male students. In 1868, one of her paintings was accepted into the Paris Salon, making her the first female artist ever displayed there, and officially starting her successful art career. While her art thrived, she began taking an interest in sponsoring other young American artists. She encouraged the wealthy to purchase artwork and support young impressionists like herself, hopeful that one day these pieces would end up in museums. According to the National Museum of Women in the Arts, women make up about half of the visual artists displayed in museums today, showing how far we've come since the days of Mary Cassatt and Frida Kahlo. The number of female artists is constantly growing, thanks to these and many other powerful women who overcame adversity and set new standards for the art world.
Thanks, Maya. With the unexpected breakout of COVID-19 and the shutdown of restaurants and schools, we have a lot of extra time in our hands. To help you fill these open hours, news correspondent Nathaniel Armstrong has some great Netflix recommendations for you to check out.
Hello Parkland, I'm Nathaniel Armstrong and welcome back to Parkland TV. As you can tell, we're a little off the air and not in our usual setup. And we all know why. Due to the coronavirus, schools, companies, everything has been taking some unexpected time off. First and foremost, it is so important to make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, stay informed. But also, while you're hunkered down, you're probably finding yourself with a little bit extra spare time. So that is why we asked you on our Instagram, what shows and movies would you all recommend that people check out during this time off? So without further ado, let's get into it.
My name is Sydney. I'm a boring 17-year-old white girl. It's probably just puberty.
Can you please break down what's going on?
It's complicated. We're dysfunctional.
Understatement.
You know the business, and I know the chemistry.
Solo puede pasar una cosa. Explota.
Boom.
I like you a lot.
It is not the time to give up on him.
Pick me up at 8?
You really go out with some guy you don't know?
Well, you can't be worse than the guys I do know.
And who am I? That's one secret I'll never tell.
I'll see you boys in the end zone.
You say you play because you're angry. I'm asking you to play for something bigger now.
Here, you will choose someone to marry.
Hello.
Nice to hear from you. Can't say see ya.
Without ever seeing her.
I've met the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. I've never seen her before.
Do you take her to be your lawful wedded wife? 100 human beings placed themselves at the mercy of us on a mission to answer questions we all have about human behavior. Does time really fly when you're having fun?
Something's here. I feel it breathing on me.
You cannot run from this. It will follow you.
I'm sorry. You just look so much more normal.
Did you recognize her?
Who's the executioner?
A picture postcard, small town.
I lost my fiance 8 weeks ago. It was really sudden. Since Ted died, I haven't been sleeping at all. This is so weird. Can I give you a hug? No. Okay.
I'm feeling good. I feel myself and I'm feeling understood. Yeah, baby, but
You get back on the road and you do what you do best. Who's little Miss Sunshine over here?
That's showbiz, kiddo. They can't all be Diana Ross at the Felt Forum.
Who's Diana Ross?
How dare you? Bueller. Ferris Bueller.
You know, as long as I've known him, everything works for him.
Whatever he wants. He's very cool.
Ferris can do anything.
Oh, he's such a sweetie.
Wake up and smell the coffee, Mrs. Bueller.
Bueller. Bueller. Bueller.
Arise, Sir Lancelot.
And that just about wraps up our list today, so now instead of watching The Office for the 18th time, you can check out something new. But before we go, my personal recommendation is that you check out Star Wars The Clone Wars. The final season is now airing weekly on Disney+. Even if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, you probably grew up hearing about this show or maybe watching a couple episodes just sort of having them on in the background. Whatever it was, you've probably heard about this show some point or another. And Disney brought it back for another season on Disney+, the major streaming service. I'm personally watching the entire Star Wars franchise, and I'm at the point in Clone Wars where I'm just about to watching the new seasons. Personally, for me watching it, it's been a huge nostalgia trip, and I would just highly recommend it. It's such a great show. Once again, make sure you stay safe, make sure you stay healthy, and stay home. Safety and your health should be the first priority in this situation. And on behalf of all of us here at Parkland TV and Film, we'll see you next time real soon.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Aside from filling your time with your favorite shows, you can spend time getting around to things you may have been putting off. Ireland Truckley gives us some tips to combat boredom and stay busy while kept inside.
Hi, I'm Ireland Truckley reporting to you, from my bedroom because we are home for the next few weeks because of the coronavirus. I'm going to give you some ways on how to not be bored while being at home.
First, you can watch some Netflix or Hulu, whatever you have. My favorite show currently is On My Block. Highly recommend. You can make your bed, feed your fish or whatever animal you have, bake some cookies, pet your dog or cat. You can throw a little dance party with or without an animal. I chose to dance with my dog. You could eat a snack because I'm probably going to gain 30 pounds after this. You could adventure outside, do your nails because all the nail salons are currently closed. You could take a nap to catch up on all the sleep that you've been missing out throughout the school year. Complete your Schoology assignments that teachers have generously put out for you to keep up with the work. And most importantly, spend time with your family.
Thank you all for tuning into my segment of how not to be bored while being at home due to the coronavirus. I'm Ireland Truckley from Parkland TV. See you next time.
Thanks, Ireland. If all of those recommendations aren't enough for you, consider taking on a new video game. This can help to stimulate your mind and teach yourself some new skills. Alexis Dawkins gives her thoughts in her upcoming video game review.
To you, 2 weeks of no school didn't really sound that bad. Until you were 3 days in and already bored of your assortment of games. You'd seen every Let's Play and walkthrough your favorite YouTubers had to offer, and began to feel fresh out of entertainment. Well, I can promise it's not just you. I'm Alexis Dawkins. This is my assistant and cat, Maya. I'm here to give you my top 5 video game picks for your quarantine. Number 1, Animal Crossing New Horizons. New Horizons is quite literally the freshest game on the market, having been released just this morning. The Animal Crossing series focuses on you, the player character, moving into and becoming the mayor of a town full of quirky neighbors and residents, such as fan favorites like Isabelle the dog, your secretary as mayor, and Tom Nook the tanuki, who manages many services throughout the town, most notably owning a shop and providing the player with real estate, which they work to pay off. New Horizons has you establish a town on a deserted vacation island. The game has many components such as digging for fossils, buying, growing, and selling materials, socializing with villagers, and so much more. If you're looking for a cute, non-objective based time waster, Animal Crossing New Horizons might just be the game for you. Number 2, the Resident Evil 2 remake. Resident Evil 2 was first released in 1998, 22 years ago, for the first generation PlayStation. Just last year it was remastered, and it's received rave reviews. You play as rookie police officer Leon Kennedy, or the younger sister of one of Kennedy's 2B colleagues, Claire Redfield, as they enter Raccoon City, a metropolis overcome by zombies. You spend the game navigating the zombie-infested police department trying to solve the mystery as to why such an outbreak occurred, and also finding your way out of the city without becoming a zombie's dinner. Or worse. For those of you who enjoy bone-chilling horror games and twisted puzzle solving, you'll have a great time with the Resident Evil 2 remake. Number 3, Persona 5. Despite its name, Persona 5 is actually the 6th installment in the Persona series, a branch of the much larger Shin Megami Tensei game series, though you don't need to play any of its predecessors to understand the game. In Persona 5, you play as a self-named high schooler nicknamed Joker, who is a part of a group called the Phantom Thieves, a crew of teens who work together to eradicate the evil in the hearts of corrupt people. The game features a collection system similar to Pokemon where you collect personas, guardian-like characters that are comprised of the strong emotions people feel. The colorful and exciting style and gameplay, along with the fun cast of characters, make the game a must-play for anyone interested in action RPGs, turn-based combat, or just a good story. The game's 100+ hours of content is sure to keep you busy. Number 4, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Tired of single player? No problem. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate hosts single-player CPU battles and online multiplayer battles. Smash Bros. Ultimate is a fighting game where you can choose from a myriad of characters from different games to play as, even featuring characters from games that I've mentioned on this list. Its wide variety, produced by both the creators and community, and not just limitations of stages, but also characters, map design, competitors, and more, make it impossible to run out of new ways to play. With a fantastic soundtrack, thriving community, and endless content, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is perfect for anyone who's competitive and likes a challenge. Number 5, Minecraft. Saving the best for last, you can never go wrong with the number 1 best-selling game of all time, Minecraft. The sky's the limit in this blocky favorite, or I guess it's the end? Whether you prefer to play in survival, where you must forage for your own resources and survive the monsters of the night, or in creative, where you're given infinite resources and a blank canvas of a world. Whether your goals include killing the Ender Dragon and completing all of the achievements, or taming as many animals as you can. Whether you participate in minigames, events, and modded multiplayer on the ever-growing number of servers, or lean towards your quiet single-player vanilla world, I think that we can all agree, like its rating, Minecraft is for everyone. Now you've got 5 new things to do for the rest of your quarantine. Although, try to fit some schoolwork in there, you'll have time for both, I promise. I'm Alexis Dawkins from Parkland TV, reminding you to wash your hands, don't touch your face, and enjoy the rest of your time at home.
Thanks, Alexis. As some of you may know, our team was in Washington, D.C. last week for a national conference hosted by STN. Unfortunately, the conference was canceled due to the coronavirus outbreak. While we were only there for a day, we were still given the chance to interview Congresswoman Susan Wild. To continue the celebration of Women's History Month, political correspondent Maya Halma was able to speak to Susan Wild about what it's like to be a woman in Congress.
Hi, I'm political correspondent Maya Halma with Parkland TV, here in our nation's Capitol building in Washington, D.C., to interview our Congresswoman Susan Wild about Women's History Month.
I will tell you that the women who were elected, the Democratic women who were elected, who make up the vast majority of women in Congress, have received tremendous support. We are very unified. We do what women often do best, which is we have each other's backs. We spend a lot of time making sure that, you know, anybody who's has a personal issue or whatever is kind of taken care of. It's one of those things that I think is attractive about women in general. And the great thing is that it's not just about the women in Congress. We have some great men on our side who have been willing to uplift us, support us. We've got women who are committee chairs of oversight, financial services, appropriations, which is huge. Being a committee chair in Congress is sort of the pinnacle of your experience. And of course, we have a female Speaker of the House for the second time, and nobody messes with Nancy. So it's you know, she's a wonderful, wonderful role model. So my message for the girls out there is pretty much the same as for the boys out there. That you should get very involved in the local political scene as soon as possible. And by that I mean, you know, can't volunteer on a campaign, get to know who your elected officials are, find out about internships that are available, just become part of that political fabric before you ever actually run. And then when you're ready, when you start to feel like you're comfortable with your local political scene, run for something. And you know, you don't have to be president of the United States. Run for a city council office, a local board of supervisors. These are really, often they have a shortage of people running, and so you end up with the same person just being reelected over and over again, mostly because of lack of knowledge or lack of interest in. I think that if you can run early in your life, it sets you up really well for running for higher office later. I was excited that we had obviously a record number of women running for a mainstream presidential ticket, and they were highly qualified, well thought of, did great at debates. Some of what we saw was that their fundraising sometimes lagged behind the male candidates. That concerns me. It's sort of you wonder whether it's indicative of inherent sexism or whether it had to do with their issues. Who knows? I take comfort in the fact that I'm part of a freshman class in Congress that has the largest number of women ever elected. So I don't think for all of you, for instance, who are in high school now, I think by the time that you are of the age that you want to run for office, that there will be almost no difference, if any at all, between being a male candidate and a female candidate. I do believe we've made a lot of progress, but we clearly have some room yet to go.
Thanks, Maya. To end this quarantine edition of Parkland TV Live, Ken Carpinetti has the weather report.
Hi, I'm news correspondent Ken Okay. Hi, I'm news correspondent Ken Carpinetti, and indoors is currently room temperature. You might be thinking to yourself, Ken, you're in your living room, and the weather's outside. What are you doing? Well, for now, the weather's going to be an indoor event, because I'm currently practicing social distancing. Social distancing is a set of non-pharmaceutical practices aimed at stopping the spread of infectious disease. In this case, it's used to combat the spread of COVID-19. The whole point is to limit the probability of contact between those infected and those not, in order to slow the mortality and transmission rates. Even if you don't consider yourself at risk, it is still important that you explore the great indoors for the time being, as tests for the disease are largely unavailable, and you could be an asymptomatic carrier of the virus. So be on the right side of history and stay in. I'm Ken Carpinetti. This has been the weather.
Thank you, Ken. That's all we have for you today on Parkland TV Live from Quarantine. I'm Mary Meyer. Make sure to follow our YouTube and Twitter at Parkland TV Film for more content and updates. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe.
Hello, Parkland. This is the Greth coming to you from my house during social distancing 2020, along with the son and the daughter. We're here going to talk to you a little bit about how we are maintaining our time with streaming services that we're using to entertain ourselves while we remain in our house. Monica, what have you been watching?
Bird!
on Disney Plus.
All right, Tenza, what about you?
I've been watching Star Wars on Disney Plus.
Star Wars, how many Star Wars movies have you watched?
All of them.
All
9.
All 9 of them? Yes, he has. He's watched all 9 a couple times. I've been using Amazon Prime. I've been using Netflix and HBO Go. I prefer HBO Go because of the content that they have on there. Where else can you actually go and watch Game of Thrones for the entire time, for the 3rd time in a row? That's something that I've been doing, as well as not doing it in front of anybody else because, you know, content restrictions and such. So Netflix, everyone has their own profile. The kids have one, I have one. So when the kids...
doesn't have one.
Mom doesn't have one, she shares one with me. You're right, thanks Monica. So as we continue on with that, that's what we've been looking at on HBO Go. I would also recommend The Newsroom, Deadwood, if you're going with Netflix. House of Cards is good, first 4 seasons. 5th season, Jumps the Shark, wouldn't do that. If you don't know what Jump the Sharks mean, you probably should look it up. The Fonz, that was the first one. For now, the Graf, the son, the daughter, coming to you live from my house. Well, live when I recorded it. I hope you've been enjoying the content that our Parkland TV is putting out to you. The Graf, bye.